So I'm watching the most recent Christmas joke swap for SNL's Weekend Update, and I knew almost immediately that this was going to be quite uncomfortable for the both of them. And sure enough, it was.
No.
These reactions seemed incredibly genuine. I mean, these were some of the most heinous jokes ever told on live TV.
When it comes to the charges against you, I'll say the same thing I always said at your parties. I will help get you off.
Costco has removed the roast beef sandwich from its menu, but I ain't tripping. I've been eating roast beef every night since my wife had the kid.
And even more interesting is that these two are the best of friends.
What about you guys? Is there a real close friendship? Because there isn't, Michael. You say no.
Absolutely not.
We went to get iPhones together. It was really cute. Yeah.
Two individuals with completely different backgrounds.
Like, Colin, will you double date when he has one of his many dates?
I don't need Scarlett calling my phone saying I think your date stole my silverware.
Completely different styles, sharing a moment of mutual disrespect.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe you, Colin.
But it's not like the consistency is there with the show as a whole. SNL has gotten plenty of heat, especially as of late, for being either too cringe or too on the nose with their skits.
Watch it, Wario.
People are so mean online.
Some argue that they're politically biased,
And our contestants have to guess whether they're Republican or not.
calling them out over bookings that suggest a clear hypocrisy.
The show firing one of its new cast members.
Yeah, I'm here.
When you have a week to wrap up material on current events,
Are you Team Kendrick or Team Drake?
you're often susceptible to missing the mark, and at times reliant on using celebrity hosts in substitute of better jokes as a crutch to attract the general public. However, there's one segment that hasn't really leveraged the show's celebrity charm, one that has remained both completely unfiltered and consistently hilarious, and that is the Weekend Update.
And if what they say about prison is true, he's celebrated the same way he always does.
It's been a core part of the show since its premiere in 1975, created by comedy legend and original cast member Chevy Chase.
Weekend Update with Chevy Chase.
Chase originally sought out to mock the seriousness and self-importance of news anchors by pairing nonsensical headlines with a deadpan delivery. This had been tried before, but the 70s were an era where anti-authority was becoming much less taboo, where sharp analysis of political and cultural satire would prove to generate quite the loyal audience. It became its most iconic segment.
Jane, you ignorant
And its hosts would go on to become legends.
Norm is the reason that I ever wanted to do Weekend Update.
And while one individual stands out to most as its best solo anchor, there's two individuals who seem to pair the best as a duo.
Welcome to Weekend Update. I'm Michael Che.
I'm Colin Jost.
Colin Jost and Michael Che are no strangers to the comedy scene. Both grew up in New York, both spent years within comedy clubs honing their writing and delivery. Yet both of these men have completely different styles. Colin Jost graduated from Harvard and has a cleaner, more polished approach to stand-up.
When you fight with the person you're dating, it's never anything important. It's never like, no, this is the cause of slavery. It's never...
Jost had been a writer on the show since 2005 and was no stranger to the Weekend Update setup.
At 22, aware of the show, watching the show, to walk in there and suddenly be on the staff.
It's very weird. You have to pretend like it's not weird.
Che's comedy, by contrast, often reflects his keen observational skills and urban upbringing.
I've never seen a white ghetto in my life. It was amazing. I saw a white lady steal a bike, and she was wearing a helmet. It was amazing.
He's not afraid to push boundaries and provide commentary on incredibly sensitive social issues.
Blacks and cops aren't getting along. I don't know if you've seen the news in the past 400 years, but...
However, Che joined SNL as a writer in 2013. He'd created a lot of buzz as a correspondent on The Daily Show, but he was still new to the show's dynamics. And at this point, Jost was already paired up with Cecily Strong.
Colin Jost is about to make his SNL debut this weekend.
If it doesn't go well, I'll blame you.
Yeah, that's good. You have a good out.
Yet, Strong expressed a desire to focus more on sketch work instead of her position as co-anchor. Jost was initially picked for his polished delivery, but as audiences would discover, he was still seen as very green within his role as anchor. He was criticized for what people perceived as a weak on-screen delivery and a lack of chemistry.
Because you're really honest about the horrible reviews you got.
It made me think I was a bad human.
Is that really true? People stopped talking to you because they
in that show business way, yes. People I worked with recommended people to replace me to me.
To some critics, it seemed like he was reading directly from the cards.
This Monday was opening day for the new Major League Baseball season and reopening of Old Wounds Day for Mets fans,
rather than treating it as a live performance. He also had some pretty big shoes to fill. Seth Meyers had just stepped down after serving as an anchor for 8 seasons, and notably seemed to have a lot more charisma. Lorne Michaels, the show's producer, knew that all Jost needed was some time to adapt. Either that, or a comforting counterpart. He saw potential in pairing Jost's polished and preppy persona with Che's relaxed, sharp-edged style. And in 2014, just a year after Che's arrival onto the team, we'd see the two paired on screen for the first time.
Welcome to Weekend Update. I'm Michael Che.
I'm Colin Jost, and here are tonight's top stories.
Jost and Che have noted that they'd bonded over their shared sense of humor and mutual respect.
He knew you from the comedy circuit, and he asked you to come in and be a guest writer.
I thought I was getting coffee and bagels. Like, I guest writer. I didn't know what I was doing. I thought I was parking cars.
And their archetypes, Colin's Harvard-educated straight man and Che as the laid-back, socially incisive comic, would pair to both on-screen and off-screen success.
This is the one you wrote for me?
Yeah.
A team of doctors will soon perform a surgery that uses muscle and skin from a man's arm to give him a new penis. And before the man with no penis goes into surgery, let me just say this. Good luck, Colin. Now that's not...
I mean, these guys really leaned into their roles. Che was often the button pusher.
I had to learn how to just do what I wanted to do, and then the writers learned how to write for me in that way.
People need to know about bidets. Man, that thing sprayed me like it was trying to remove graffiti.
More comfortable with touching socially divisive topics, and, at times, making Colin visibly uncomfortable.
Che didn't write this one. This is all me.
Colin was much more passive, more hesitant to stoke the flames of controversy, with Che seeming to enjoy every moment.
You're gonna get me murdered.
This level of tension heightens the stakes and makes the punchlines all that more memorable.
President Biden and Donald Trump seen here burning the last of their classified documents.
This exaggeration is deliberate, playing heavily on their archetypes to display a wide range of perspectives.
He hopes that the death of the leader of Hamas will be a path to peace in Gaza. Path to Peace is also the name of the home Biden's moving into in about 3 months.
The book-smart, preppy Harvard grad against the street-smart, no-nonsense voice of reason. The chemistry between these two allow them to deliver pretty harsh observations without making them sound preachy. The reason people often dislike the news is it's delivered in such a matter-of-fact way that it feels like they're not leaving any room for interpretation. When throwing in a punchline, it's up to the audience to notice the satire and internalize it.
Last night, Jake Paul and Mike Tyson teamed up to defeat everyone watching.
As a result, they feel far more rewarded for listening. Given the fact that this is an era with heightened social tensions, there's more of a need to pad this commentary on current events with the crutch of satire.
Saying, quote, the last thing I would do is trust a computer program, like the ones driving all of his cars.
Yet, despite the heightened stakes, they never compromised the show's edge. The yearly joke swap segment is a prime example of that.
We have like darker, harder jokes that we like to do, but every time we do it, we would ice the audience. The audience would be like, no. One time it was like, we should do this thing for Christmas where we just tell a dark joke and just say, hey, this is just a joke that got cut that we want to tell. Every joke that bombed before, killed.
Che often gives Colin some of the most offensive one-liners ever read on TV.
Church in Massachusetts has created a nativity scene that comments on the immigration debate by placing the baby Jesus in a cage, where he belongs.
Jokes that are aimed at making him deeply uncomfortable. He's unafraid to make Colin look like a seriously problematic individual, which, to an audience's delight, is a lot of fun. Comedy should be able to push boundaries and make people uncomfortable, so long as it's actually funny.
Sean Combs' defense attorney also argued that his client is not like R. Kelly. Never a great sign when the first person you compare your client to is R. Kelly.
Yet, there are times where the jokes are even too much for them.
First black guy to boo Jackie Robinson?
All right. I wanted a Black History sketch, and I was like, who's the first black guy to boo Jackie Robinson? And yeah, censor said no.
They frequently address audience reactions to the jokes and even refuse to deliver certain bits during rehearsal.
You know, we do different jokes at dress rehearsal than are the ones that are on air, so that they're surprising on air. And some of the ones at dress rehearsal are, believe it or not, even more horrendous. So
while they're aware of the sensitivities, they're still willing to take risks, still willing to mock themselves, still willing to mock the show, still willing to mock NBC. This is arguably the greatest segment SNL has ever had, and its long-running hosts Colin Jost and Michael Che.
Some would say, oh my God, cruise control, but you have to feel pressure. Pretty much you're gonna leave here and you're gonna go right upstairs and right through the night.
Have now had over 10 seasons of on-screen chemistry. This makes them not only the longest running duo The Weekend Update has ever seen, but one of the greatest duos in the show's history.
Could you do the news by yourself?
No.
But what about you, Colin? Would you do the news by yourself without Michael? You would not.
He's lying.
I wouldn't do it.
You wouldn't do it?
No.
All right.